All right, this is Jeremy Whitfield. I'm making a documentary on welfare. So, question one, tell me what you know about the welfare system.
Tell you what I know about the welfare system.
Yeah.
It works sometimes. Sometimes it don't work. You got people who need it, and you got people who don't need it. And most of the time, it seems like the people who don't need it end up getting the most help, and the people who really need it are stuck not getting any.
All right, tell me what you know about welfare.
Well, I know it's it's a government system in which we use to support really low income people and families, essentially people who are poor. And it's supposed to be used kind of like a crutch to help them out with their financial situations. And, the goal of it is for them to one day, get a job and, so they don't have to use the system anymore. It's supposed to, just help people when they're down, and then help them, just help them back up.
Well, I don't know too much about it. I'm pretty sure it's designed for families whose income or lack of income is insufficient to support themselves and their children with the necessary things to have a good life, such as like a house or food or whatnot.
I know it's a program, I guess, that helps people that are needy, that need assistance, I guess.
Do you think welfare fraud is a growing problem?
I'm not sure on the statistics, but I would assume it is. I mean, I know people probably take advantage of it. It's free money. It's not technically free because it's costing the taxpayers. But I know over the past couple of years, the amount of welfare recipients has grown to a pretty outrageous number.
Do you think that welfare fraud is a growing problem?
Yes, it is.
Explain.
Because whenever I go to the welfare office, and I see people pulling up in brand new Escalades and Cadillacs and brand new Toyotas with rims on it, it kind of lets you know that something's going on there when they're walking out with all sorts of benefits, but yet they can have rims on their car, nice cars and stuff like that. And then you got the people who work, they can't barely get any benefits, they live like crap.
Do you think welfare fraud is a growing problem?
Oh, I definitely think that's a growing problem because many people take advantage of the government.
Definitely.
And explain.
And just simply looking at the economy, I mean, especially a couple of years back when the housing market crashed and tons of people, and then the banks, when a lot of people were losing their jobs. And when people run out of money, they're more than willing to break the law to get it.
Yeah.
So, it's just the human condition. When you get pressured and you get desperate, you're gonna do whatever it takes to survive. Especially if someone has a family,
Yeah.
We've all seen them. I mean, you gotta do what you.
What are your personal thoughts on how to reduce welfare fraud?
To reduce welfare fraud, that'd be a hard thing to do because most of the time you just have to get all the information you can out to people, but they 100% depend on the people. So say that, like, they usually ask you if you got a car, if you got cable bills, what kind of bills you have and stuff like that. Most of the people who go down there, they put their car in somebody else's name, their cell phone bills in somebody else's name. They put all the good stuff in other people's names, so when they go down there, they can say, oh, I don't have a car, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, and then they get their benefits, and then they walk out the door and they get in their brand new car and ride off.
What are your personal thoughts on how to reduce welfare fraud?
Well, one way to reduce it is by doing a thorough background check on people who may think they need assistance but don't actually need it.
Do you have any ideas on how to reduce welfare fraud?
Other than doing harder screening processes in the beginning, that would be it. Maybe you could even try more interviews. You could also do drug testing. I think that should definitely be done randomly because it really irritates me when it really irritates me to know that my tax dollars are going to some drug addict who has no intention on ever getting off of welfare. You know, I mean, obviously, if you got money to buy drugs, then you don't need welfare in life.
An idea that I heard to help reduce people taking advantage of the welfare and just all people on the welfare in general is I heard they think about maybe drug testing the welfare recipients. That way, if they test positive for a drug, you can ask them the question, hey, why are we giving you money for food and shelter, but somehow you have money to support your habits? You should probably use that towards bettering your life.
Do you think enough is being done to prevent welfare fraud?
Nope. But like I said, it'd be a hard thing to do because I mean they'd have to get really, really in depth with what they did. They'd have to really research everything and everybody that they had through there, which according to them they wouldn't have enough time to.
Do you think enough is being done to prevent welfare fraud?
Oh, I don't think so at all, because we can see now that there's a lot of welfare fraud going on today, and nothing's really been done about it.
Just about as much as what can be done is being done. I mean, you can't follow each individual person who's on it around, you know, and really see what they're up to. I mean, people have, you know, privacy rights and all, but you know, maybe to help out with it. Yeah, just more interviews, just to see how they're doing. Have them check in more often.
How do you feel about drug testing welfare recipients?
That's a good idea, because many people could be wasting their money on drugs, even though they say they need assistance, when they're just wasting money on said drugs or clothes or cars, many other things that they don't need.
I think drug testing is probably a good idea. I think it would weed out a lot of the people, would cut back the numbers of people who are on welfare. I mean, I don't doubt there's people with drug problems who are receiving welfare right now, so that eliminates the cost.
Drug testing some recipients, I can understand some I don't understand. Say if you actually work and you just not getting the hours and stuff like that, but you're working, you're paying taxes, I don't see a problem with them not testing you because you're actually working, you're actually making an effort. I think if they do decide to test people, it should be the people who don't work and never get jobs, because obviously they're doing something to keep themselves from getting a job just so they can get the.
What are your views about drug testing welfare recipients?
I'm all on board for it. Yeah, I mean, if you can buy drugs and you shouldn't have money that's being taken out of my taxes.
Yeah.
You don't need my money then.
Yeah.
Yeah, go get a job and support your drug.
What are your views on using recipients to rebuild local communities?
Explain that one.
For instance, say there's a public housing and it's run down, the environment's just trash everywhere and stuff. How do you feel about using people who don't work, who are getting benefits from the state, to clean up and rebuild?
To clean up their own neighborhood. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that makes perfect sense. I mean, if you're not working, first of all, if you're not working, you shouldn't really have that much money to be trashing places. You know, I mean, you shouldn't have a bunch of trash stuff around because you shouldn't be able to really afford too much. But at the same time, if you living somewhere and you're running it down and you're not having to pay rent, and you're not doing anything, yeah, they should make you step up and at least help paint or something, give back to the community. That's what social service is supposed to be. Whenever you go get help, they're helping you to get back on your feet so you can help yourself and help other people, not just sit back and let the government do everything and pay everything. Whenever, I mean, when you can do it yourself. People just refuse to do things. That's all it is, and nobody makes them do it. So I mean, if you don't make anybody take responsibility, they're not going to take responsibility.
How do you feel about using recipients to rebuild local communities?
I think if they're able-bodied, they're in good health, if they don't have a job, I think it'd be great if they want to, work in the community, fix up the neighborhood they live in, make it a nice place to live.
What are your views about using recipients to rebuild local communities?
I think that's a good idea because they could be earning their benefits while helping their community out.
How do you feel about using local recipients to rebuild their own communities?
I would be for it. I mean, obviously everyone wouldn't be able to participate, but I'd be for it. I think more people would probably want to do it if, let's say, if you do it, offer them something in return, like maybe a meal or, I don't know, I'm not necessarily saying it should be cash or something like that, so something that could help them out immediately, like, hey, if you come work or fix up the community or something like that, we'll get you, a decent meal.
What ways do you think we can encourage recipients to get off the system?
Well, starting with people who just don't work and just aren't doing anything, I think you should slowly cut benefits. That way it forces them to get out and get a job, or at least to get out and try to get a job. Because if you don't put a flame up under them, they ain't gonna do nothing. They're just gonna sit there and receive benefits. If you start slowly cutting benefits, you're gonna force them out into work. They're gonna have to go work. They're gonna have to go make some money. So, I mean, and if you make it to where they have to get a job and work so many hours a week or so many hours per year, it would work out because at least they're getting something back. At least they're paying some taxes. It's not just a free ride.
Can you think of any ways we can encourage recipients to get off the system?
Other than getting them a job, no, not really. I mean, it's tough. I mean, some people do that, and God bless them for being able to do that. But other people, on the other hand, just have no ambition to do anything. They're comfortable with their lifestyle, and they don't mind living on welfare their whole lives. Which is stupid, but it's also sad at the same time too. I do kind of sympathize with it because some people just think they can't do anything, and that's as good as it's going to get for them.
If you can make any changes to the welfare system, what would they be?
Well, I think we could do the background check more properly and as well as do the drug test.
If you make any changes to the welfare system, what would they be?
I would probably regulate it more. One way regulation would be the drug testing. I'd make sure that people are actually applying for jobs, that are hiring, not just sitting around all day watching TV. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
If you can make any changes to the welfare system, what would they be?
Random drug testing, definitely. I would definitely be for random drug testing. I'm very much on board with not giving money to a drug addict, or even necessarily giving them food stamps or whatever it may be. It just really irritates me.
If I can make any changes, just for the people who really, really need the help to be able to get the help first and foremost, and just the people who really don't need the help or just ain't trying to work, they just need I'd put them on like a job line, job search. I'd like they do at whenever you job security. They make you go out, fill out applications. They call to make sure you've actually went and talked to these people. They try to find out, was he presentable? Did he seem like he wanted a job? I mean, if they do stuff like that, then it'd be a lot easier. You'd get rid of a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? You'd force a lot of people back into the job. So.
All right. Well, that's all of our questions for the day. All right. Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time, Montgomery.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for your time, and thanks for participating.